Second one of the day actually. So I thought I'd do just two bite-sized videos, nice and easy to check in on, and etc. etc. So, self-employment. You've decided your relationship's okay. Next thing to consider is, and I'll cover again about making the plan and the build-up. The next thing to consider is you're in a toxic workplace, and I'm talking more from what I see from the outside looking in on this particular situation, but it counts for everybody. So you're in a toxic workplace. People in charge seem a bit toxic. They seem kind of. I don't know how it is in other areas because I've been stuck up here for so long, and when I work away in other areas, I'm kind of in and out, So I don't really. I'm polite. I don't really kind of get too involved with people. I'm like, right, you want the job done, right, that's what it will cost. I do it, I ask for the money and I go. End of story. So I don't really get involved with firms. But I've noticed there's a certain type of business owner, and some of them get quite successful. And they seem to think they're gangsters. I don't know what that's about. And I'll give a scenario. Knew a guy, cannot say who he is because I just don't want hassle. But I remember he was in a quite kind of close-knit kind of business thing. Had a small business, still successful, lots of houses, vehicles, whatever. But he's an idiot. And I remember one of his guys became self-employed one day, put his notice in, literally put a week's notice in, got his last wages and went. Few weeks later, the business owner found out his ex-employee had started up a company doing one of the services that he offered. And his actual words were, yeah, they're going to find him floating down the river within a month. Great. So, obviously, first thing is, police were informed. It's a death threat, credible death threat. Osman warnings were issued, reverse Osman warnings were issued. It got nasty, real nasty. Guy, not the guy the person who's thinking about self-employed, but this particular guy who made the threat was actually involved with the same people as this person's employer is. Sort of like, what do you call it, motor racing, speedway racing, that sort of thing. And they all just seem like semi-gangsters. They seem to think they're gangsters. They're not. They're people who are probably good at their job. They do well, and they do okay. But something to consider. Do you know what I mean? You've got a certain sort of skill set. You don't necessarily need to do the same trade. You could do something else completely. You could do something else completely different to what you're doing already. But be aware that the minute you go self-employed, your employers are not going to put out their hand, shake your hand, and wish you good luck. They're not. They are going to get very nasty. They're going to go all out to destroy you. They're going to find out who you're working for, where your contracts are, and they're going to try and wreck it. They'll even go as far as to go in and quote cheaper just to stop you getting the work. Something to really consider, really seriously consider. And if you are going self-employed, think about doing it in a different area. That's the other thing. But it's just something to consider, because you could get yourself a nice little niche doing something with your skills that they're not doing. Great. But if you just simply try and go in and take all their old clients, or you do exactly the same service but as self-employed, just setting yourself up for a world of hurt. You're going to have to be very strong to deal with that. I'll tell the story one day. I remember years ago, going back 25 years ago, this is absolutely serious. I had went self-employed, and for some reason this little crew of people thought I was stepping on their toes or something, and went through a little period of the vehicle I was in. I woke up in the morning to find the windscreen and passenger window had been smashed in the middle of the night. What else happened? There was there were threats. There was people jumping out. You'd get to quotes, and there'd be people sort of having a barney, and you had to be very careful. I'm in Ipswich. I'm going back 25 years. Ipswich was a dark, dangerous place back then. You wouldn't get away with it now. There's too many cameras. And they didn't get away with it back then. But then I was a lot younger, a lot faster, and I just pushed back twice as hard, really. And it was all quite silly, really, because I was just a guy just doing a job. just one guy. It's hardly a threat to anyone, but that's how psychotic people can get, and they get very possessive about their little businesses. So just something to really bear in mind is what your employer, what is he involved in, who is he involved with, what sort of dodgy characters. Like the motor racing circuit looks, it's exciting, it's fun, but there's a lot of money involved and a lot of just very serious, very heavy gangsters involved in that, and I've seen it firsthand, and they take a lot to, and they're just very sly. And the trouble is also probably different elsewhere, but here in Ipswich it's just weird anyway. There's just some very weird people, and they will just get very, very odd. So just something to consider when you're getting self-employed, what you're doing at the moment, whose toes are you going to step on, and what is your current employer going to be feeling and talking, and are they just going to let you go happily, or are they just going to get really nasty and quite threatening and try and destroy you? That's just straight off the bat, and that's what you've all got to think when you're going self-employed. Some of you, like a painter and decorator, you might be a painter and decorator working for someone. I've had someone working for me who's gone, actually I want to go self-employed instead. Okay mate, no problem, wish you all the best, keep in touch if I need you. If you've got spare days, give me a ring. Good luck. There's plenty of space for everybody, and I've never been that guy because that's just pointless. It's like, appreciate it if you stay away from the customers, but yeah, good luck to you. And that's just how it goes, and that's how you should be, but people aren't. They are just very, very nasty, really. So hopefully this one helps you. And just a second thing, and I think what I'll do, I'll give it time for people to think about this, and then I'll do another one tomorrow about possibly how you'd set it up, and the next thing to think about. But these are the first two things you need to think about: is the previous video, the support of people around you, and then obviously this one, the reaction of your employers at the moment if you quit and become self-employed. What are they going to do? How are they going to react? And what will the ramifications be? And how much do they actually know about your personal life as well? Because trust me, they'll use everything against you if they're kind of a bit vindictive.